From the National Newsroom of the Canadian Press, I'm John Kennedy. The charity currently delivering food supplies to Palestinians caught between the fighting in the Gaza Strip says it will resume operations. The World Central Kitchen plans to resume its work in Gaza 4 weeks after the Israeli military killed 7 of its aid workers with airstrikes. The aid group says their vehicles were very clearly marked and their movements were known to the Israeli military at the time of the attacks. The United States says it's still working for a temporary ceasefire in Gaza, where humanitarian concerns continue to mount.
Secretary of State Antony Blinken will visit Israel this week. White House National Security Communications Advisor John Kirby tells ABC's This Week the top priority is securing a ceasefire.
What we're hoping is that after 6 weeks of a temporary ceasefire, we can maybe get something more enduring in place.
He said the flow of humanitarian aid into Gaza is increasing.
The Israelis have started to meet the commitments that President Biden asked them to meet.
Construction's begun on a U.S. pier to ship supplies into Gaza. Brian Clark, ABC News.
British Columbia's Integrated Homicide Investigation Team says a 38-year-old man has been arrested in the investigation of a death at a home in Richmond. The team says the RCMP received a request for a wellness check at the residence around 5 p.m. on Friday, finding a 71-year-old woman dead at the home. The homicide team has since taken over the investigation, but says it is working with the Richmond RCMP, the BC Coroner's Service, and the Integrated Forensic Identification Services on the case. Ontario says it's moving to try and limit all distractions to learning in schools throughout the province. Education Minister Stephen Lecce says the new steps are necessary to improve safety in schools and help students focus on their learning. The province is drawing up policies that will ban cell phone use in classrooms, restrict all social media networks, and ban vaping on school properties starting in the fall. Lecce says every parent and teacher that the government has spoke to has shared the same growing concerns regarding cell phone distractions in class, in addition to what he describes as the disturbing rise of vaping in schools. Quebec has announced that it's investing $603 million over the next 5 years to counter French decline in the language area of the province. French language minister Jean-François Roberger says the province will begin monitoring French language trends, boosting French cultural offering, and improving students' mastery of the language. Buckingham Palace says Britain's King Charles III will resume public duties after cancer treatment.
The King is back. The 75-year-old British monarch will resume duties following a 3-month break. During that time, he focused on his treatments for an undisclosed type of cancer. Charles will aptly mark the milestone by visiting a cancer treatment centre as his first public appearance. Several more state duties will follow. A major one will be to host a state visit by the Emperor and Empress of Japan in June. Karen Chamas, London.
This is the Canadian Press. In sports, Alejandro Kirk went 3 for 3 at the plate and hit his first home run of the season, leading the Toronto Blue Jays past the Los Angeles Dodgers 3-1. Dalton Varsho and Isaiah Kiner-Falefa had back-to-back groundouts in the second inning to score runners as Toronto snapped a 5-game losing skid. Kevin Gossman allowed just 1 run and 5 hits while striking out 5 across 7 innings. Multiple reports say rookie goalie Artur Silovs will be in net for the Vancouver Canucks when they face the Nashville Predators in Game 4 of their first-round playoff series today. The 23-year-old Latvian will be backed up by 24-year-old Belarusian netminder Nikita Tolopilo, who's never played an NHL game. Sarah Nurse had her first career hat-trick as Toronto clinched a top 2 seed and home ice advantage in the first round of the Professional Women Hockey League playoffs with a 6-2 victory over New York. From the Canadian Press, I'm John Kennedy.
Thanks for listening. Don't forget to follow and subscribe. For more of today's top stories, visit thecanadianpressnews.ca.